हेलो हाय एंड नमस्ते वेलकम टू आवर शो जिसका नाम है फैक्ट्स बातें और एनवायरनमेंट दिस पॉडकास्ट इज पावर्ड बाय DBIT's one and only sustainability related club SIE club and I'm Rihanna Steels along with Ravi Pandey your host and host for this episode as we begin something new I would like to invite our honorable chairperson Mr. Ravi Pandey to speak a few words about this.
Okay, thank you, Rian. Hello, guys. As well introduced by Rian, I am Ravi, the chairperson of Club, and today you are listening to DBIT's first ever environmental related podcast. And as a part of SIE, we are very glad to bring this out to you. DBIT and its infrastructure always encouraging us towards being a better individual and finding out a way to create awareness among everyone with a sound, creative, and technical mind. We intend this podcast to reach out to you and create awareness about the nature. So without much more blabbering, let's get started.
Well, thank you, Ravi, for such a good intro. In today's episode, we will be talking about sustainability in our environment. And to know more about this, we have a very esteemed guest, someone very fond of nature, and is a pointer towards creating a sustainable environment herself.
One of the major dignitaries of DBIT, here's introducing our guest speaker for the day, none other than very own principal, Dr. Prasanna Nambiar. Hello ma'am, welcome to Facts, Baatein and Environment.
Thank you very much for making me the first speaker. I think that's a big honor. So yes, what is it that you would like to know from me?
Ma'am, since we have introduced and we have told that you are a pointer towards sustainable development, we would like to know what projects you have worked on being as a mechanical engineer.
So plenty of projects. I think from the time I have been a part of DBIT, I have been trying to push a lot of projects which relate to mechanical engineering but are primarily meant for the community. So one of the first projects that I started working on was to design a trolley which would enable women in the rural areas, and I was typically looking at the areas of Jawar and Mokhada, where in spite of receiving rainfall higher than what Mumbai receives, by the time it's December, their wells are absolutely dry and women have to trek for several kilometers every day to get water, with the result that many girls drop out of school since the primary aim is to get water. And we looked at this problem and we realized that a major part of this problem is due to the terrain, the hilly terrain which is there in these areas, which doesn't allow water to percolate into the soil. It just flows into the rivers and then into the ocean. So therefore, it becomes mandatory for these women, since the open wells have got less holding capacity. Most of the water simply seeps out of it. And therefore, we started looking at how these women were carrying water, and we decided to work on it. I worked on it along with a group of project students of mine, and we designed a very wonderful trolley. And that trolley, when it was exhibited in a national level competition, it also won the first prize. So it was very well recognized. The trolley that we had designed was a little heavy, and we wanted to get back into designing it in bamboo. But then we realized that bamboo is not readily available in these villages. So for the moment, the project has been shelved till we can think in terms of alternate material which can make it lighter and have it manufactured by the locals themselves rather than make them dependent on us to give them. So this was the first project that that I started off with. The second project that I started off with was looking at chulas which the women use. Probably most people might not know, but breathing problems, or rather smoke from the chula, is the number one killer of women and children in many of these areas. So it has a huge impact because it creates a lot of breathing problems, on account of which Women deliver children who are premature, whose lung capacity is limited. And we looked at these chulas and we found that there is a lot of change that can be brought about in the design. And we tried to bring in a little bit of innovation, but rather than getting into a completely redesigned chula, which we knew that these tribals will not accept, we thought of working around their existing chulas. And we did certain modifications with them. But one thing I realized is that, people will accept the modifications temporarily, but if you want that to be sustained, you need to be there to drive it. Because if you don't stay there and you don't drive it and you don't get them habituated, they will easily go back to the earlier design. So this is still a work in progress, and we hope to do something more in that area. The third part that we got into was designing solar cookers which could cook for the community rather than, for the individuals, because these are places which receive a lot of sunshine. And we designed something unique that could be used out over there. But then, it takes a lot of time to conduct field trials. But I would say that I'm happy that, in all these projects. And then, yes, subsequently, there were other projects also that we got into. So, though we have not succeeded in converting these projects into regular products, which the people could use, I think it gave us, there were a couple of advantages. One is that it made the students look very realistically at the lives led by these people, and got them to empathize with the people, and also know that technology is not about heavy machinery and sophisticated equipment. It is also about something which is very, very basic, which you make use of from the basic material that is available. We also designed a system in which the sewage workers who work in nalas, normally when they try to clean the nalas, they tend to use their hands, and that can be an occupation hazard. So we had designed a very nice tool which could be used. We created a prototype of that, through which they could clean smaller nalas without using their hands. And that tool was endorsed by the BMC. They liked it. But again, if it has to become a product and it has to be used, then the BMC needs to take it up and tell us that manufacture so many numbers, and we will start giving it to all our people. So yeah, each year there have been products related to sustainability where our students have applied their mind. They have done very innovative thinking. They have identified the problem and come up with very good products. So yes, a lot of projects that I have been involved in this particular area.
Well, ma'am, it's all very, very interesting, very amazing to know that such projects you have worked on. Rightly said, productivity with availability, and as engineers, we need to come up with more such solutions, and hoping that by the coming years, we engineers live up to the expectations of our campus, our goal, and create a better future, create a better environment around us. Further on, ma'am, I would like to ask you, since a part of Don Bosco Institute, we have projects like compost pit, we are having solar panels around. What more projects would you like to incur into our campus?
Okay, so there is something that I want to share before we get on to that. When we talk in terms of teaching sustainability or environment study, I think it has to be taught very early in our lives. It cannot be taught as a plug and play kind of thing that you just get a bunch of students and get them into sustainability. No, it doesn't happen. It has to become part of our curriculum from school. And our growing up has to be associated with nature. For example, we must have a lot of childhood stories to share, like tadpoles and frogs in the rain, snakes in the grass, dragonflies, fireflies, butterflies and honeybees, snails in the garden, caterpillars. So these stories must be there. Now, very often we may say that it is okay to talk about these stories in smaller towns and in rural areas, but probably in a city it doesn't happen. But let me tell you, it can happen in a city provided we start creating our own mini nature parks. It could be in a society, it could be in a school, it could be in a college. So you can create a very small nature park where all these things can be seen, and children need to grow up experiencing them. They need to know what it is to see tadpoles jumping around in the rain. All this needs to become a part of the curriculum, because I believe that nature also teaches you a lot of important things. For example, it teaches you resilience. It says that you bend when the adversary is strong, but you need to bounce back once the danger has gone. You need to be inclusive, because nature is including all kinds of species. So I think that's a lesson in inclusion. There is a lesson in diversity, in adaptability. How do you change depending on, the same plant survives through monsoons, through winter, through summer. So how do you become adaptable? It is all about mutual dependence, teamwork, survival, etc., etc. So once we understand nature and we learn to live in harmony with her, I think all these qualities, which we talk about as employability, skills and all that, this will automatically become a part of our lives. This will become a part of our personality. I also believe that there are certain things that nature teaches us. One is that nothing is useless and nothing can be wasted. Everything has an important role to play. You live by the rules of nature, otherwise you're in danger. And you need to respect each other's presence, and you need to provide for each other's needs. So I always remember what Gandhiji used to say. He would say that the earth has enough for everyone's needs, but not enough for everyone's greed. And I think that is something we need to understand. See, we are technologists, and we are aware that technology has been the greatest contributor to the present day crisis. But technology is also capable of operating in a manner that respects the rights and the needs of all others who are co-inhabiting the earth along with us. But then the question is, are we willing to make that choice? So, we are talking about things which we can do on the campus. I'm just asking a question, that can we do small changes in our lives? Just very, very small changes in our lifestyles and habits, which will reduce the burden on the earth. So, for example, we are talking about composting. We say we need to do composting on the campus. How many of us actually do composting at home? We know we have wet waste, we have dry waste. We know if we can do it on the campus, it's very easy to do it at home too. Solar, we are talking about, having solar on the campus. How many of us really know how to harness solar for small requirements of ours? Yeah. So that way you start reducing the burden. And we talk about, saving water. We talk about rainwater harvesting. Even in the colonies and housing societies that we live in, there are 100 ways in which these can be harvested. There are several ways in which you can have a greener environment around you. It doesn't really take too much. It doesn't take too much time. It doesn't take too much effort, but it makes a huge difference. So, yes, we are talking about, what are the changes that we can bring about within the campus. I'm saying, in addition to the changes that we can bring about in the campus, whatever we have in the campus right now, is it possible for us to replicate it in our own houses? So I would say that if we can resolve, just make a resolution and say that we would like to change just 10 things about the way in which we live. Just 10 small things about the way in which we live. If we can do that one at a time, I'm sure that itself will be a huge contribution. And even on the campus itself, if there are, instead of getting into big projects which are there, even I think the smaller things that we can do will really make a big difference. So that is what we need to aim at, because once we make these smaller differences, it will snowball into something which is much bigger. Yeah, it will have a greater impact. Yes. So we need to know how to embrace a sustainable lifestyle by making these small changes.
Absolutely, ma'am. You're right. Nature is the best teacher. And I feel if we incur your points, what you have said, making 10 changes in our life, definitely this world is going to be a better place to live in. And one day, instead, we all will be singing "Heal the World" together in a very melodious voice. So I am pretty sure a lot of our listeners must have got a good sense of understanding from our episode. We are here not just to spread about more environmental, and as the saying goes, that be the change you want to see in the world, none other than said by Mahatma Gandhi. So now, at least as individuals, we must try to build a change to make this world a better place.
Don't forget to share and like. Stay connected with our club through our social media handles and follow them for more such fun activity and environmental topic. Till then, be natural, save nature. Bye and have a great day.
Well, this is I, Rihanna Steves, along with Ravi Pandey, and our guest speaker for the day, Dr. Prasanna, taking your leave. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.